first overall pick of the 2001 NFL Draft, three-time Pro Bowl, and the largest contract in the history of the National Football League. And that same man, killing dogs with his own hands, losing $130 million, and sleeping inside a federal prison cell. Everyone knows what Michael Vick did, but nobody has ever told you exactly why. And even more painful, the televised confession to James Brown. Today you will learn the 4 exact methods Michael Vick used on the losing dogs of Bad Newz Kennels. You will learn how the police discovered the underground empire by accident during a narcotics investigation targeting his own cousin. And even harder to believe, you will learn how Nike came back to re-sign Michael Vick for the very first time in the history of American sports marketing. But first, you need to understand how Michael Vick got there. How a poor kid from the Ridley Circle housing projects of Newport News, Virginia, became the highest-paid quarterback in NFL history and the only American player ever expelled for personally running an underground dogfighting operation. Newport News, Virginia, June 26, 1980. Michael Dwayne Vick is born. Very young parents. His mother, Brenda Vick, worked 2 jobs at the same time to pay the neighborhood bills. His father, Michael Body, worked as a sandblaster and spray painter in the naval shipyards of Newport News. Michael Vick's parents didn't formally marry until the future quarterback was 5 years old. Poor family. Ridley Circle housing projects. 6 feet tall by the time he reached adulthood, naturally left-handed, and an athletic ability that would shape the rest of the future American icon's childhood. Remember that neighborhood. We'll come back to it. Because at 8 years old, Michael Vick saw his first Ridley Circle dogfight, a fact he would publicly confess 21 years later on the CBS television program 60 Minutes. Warwick High School, Newport News, Virginia. Michael Vick threw for 4,846 yards and 43 touchdowns during his high school career in Southern Virginia, the absolute star of the local football program. And at 18 years old, Michael Vick received a full scholarship to Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia. Virginia Tech Hokies, Blacksburg, 1999 season. Michael Vick, redshirt freshman quarterback, won the starting job of the Virginia Tech Hokies during the summer camp of 1999. And he led the Hokies over the next 2 years. 1999 season, 11 wins and 0 losses. Sugar Bowl of January 4, 2000. Against the Florida State Seminoles of legendary head coach Bobby Bowden. Lost 46-29 inside the Superdome of New Orleans, Louisiana. But Michael Vick threw for 225 yards and rushed for 97 yards during the Sugar Bowl of January 4, 2000. The most brilliant performance by a debuting quarterback in the modern history of the American Bowl game up to that point. 3rd place in the 1999 Heisman Trophy voting, behind Ron Dayne of the University of Wisconsin and Joe Hamilton of Georgia Tech, the best young quarterback in all of college football. Remember that Sugar Bowl? We'll come back to it. April 21, 2001. Theater at Madison Square Garden, New York. The 2001 NFL Draft. Commissioner Paul Tagliabue walks toward the podium at the theater at Madison Square Garden and announces the first overall selection of the 2001 NFL Draft, Michael Vick. The Atlanta Falcons of the National Football Conference select Michael Vick as the first overall pick of the 2001 draft. The first African-American quarterback ever selected as the first overall pick in the modern history of the NFL draft. He was 20 years old, the youngest player ever selected as the first overall pick in the modern history of the National Football League, and the beginning of the largest professional contract in the sports history of Atlanta, Georgia. Remember that moment. We'll come back to it. Georgia Dome, Atlanta, Georgia, 2001 season. Michael Vick made his professional debut as a quarterback with the Atlanta Falcons at 21 years old. And over the following 6 years on the American calendar, Michael Vick redefined the quarterback position in the National Football League. 3-time Pro Bowl in 2002, 2004, and 2005. All-time NFL modern history record for rushing yards by a quarterback in a single season. 1,039 rushing yards during the 2006 season. The first American quarterback in the modern history of the National Football League to break 1,000 rushing yards in a season. Before Michael Vick, the quarterback position belonged exclusively to classic pocket passers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Brett Favre. After Michael Vick, the quarterback position changed forever. Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes would all follow Michael Vick's revolutionary blueprint over the next 2 decades. Remember that revolution. We'll come back to it. 2002 season, Georgia Dome, Atlanta. Michael Vick took the Atlanta Falcons to the NFC playoffs for the first time since 1998. And in the divisional wildcard round of January 4, 2003, the Atlanta Falcons beat the Green Bay Packers inside the legendary Lambeau Field of Green Bay, Wisconsin, 27-7. The first playoff loss in the modern history of the Green Bay Packers on home turf at Lambeau Field. Michael Vick rushed for 64 yards and threw a touchdown during that historic wildcard game of the 2003 NFC playoffs. He completed 13 of 25 passes for 117 passing yards, and he cemented the absolute reputation of the most electrifying quarterback in American sports of the 2000s decade. Remember that game? We'll come back to it. 2004 season, Georgia Dome, Atlanta. Michael Vick led the Atlanta Falcons to the NFC Championship game for the first time since 1999. Regular season record, 11 wins and 5 losses. Second consecutive Pro Bowl of his professional career. ESPN named Michael Vick the most important African-American athlete in American sports of the year 2004. Sports Illustrated ran 3 exclusive covers of Michael Vick during the 2004 season. And the number 7 jerseys of the Atlanta Falcons were the top-selling jerseys in the entire National Football League during the years 2003 and 2004. Remember that number 7. We'll come back to it. December 2004, Atlanta Falcons headquarters, Flowery Branch, Georgia. The Atlanta Falcons and quarterback Michael Vick signed a historic contract extension, $130 million, 10 years, and $37 million in guaranteed bonuses inside the professional deal. The largest contract in the modern history of the National Football League up to that moment. Michael Vick was 24 years old, and that same week of the NFL contract signing, Michael Vick was still running from the shadows the underground dogfighting operation he had founded 3 years earlier on his private 15-acre property in Surry County, Virginia. Remember that contract. We'll come back to it. June 29, 2002, Surry County, Virginia. Michael Vick, 22 years old, star quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons after his 2001 rookie season, with more than $3 million in his pocket from the initial professional contract, bought a 15-acre family property in Southern Virginia. Official address on the real estate filing, 1915 Moonlight Road, Smithfield, Surry County, Virginia. Purchase price, $34,000. And the name of the underground project that would operate on that property over the following 6 years of the American sports calendar. Bad Newz Kennels, a name inspired by the street nickname of Newport News, Virginia, the hometown of Michael Vick, known throughout the 1980s and 1990s as Bad Newz because of the high crime rates in the Ridley Circle neighborhood. With 3 childhood friends from Newport News as co-conspirators of the underground project, Pernell A. Peace, Quanis L. Phillips, and Tony Taylor, the 3 childhood friends of Michael Vick from the Ridley Circle housing projects of Newport News. All 3 would appear seated next to Michael Vick inside the federal courthouse of Richmond, Virginia, exactly 6 years later. Remember those names. We'll come back to them. Bad Newz Kennels was a professional underground operation. It was not a game. It was not a casual hobby. It was not a sports anecdote. It was an interstate criminal empire. Pit bulls purchased in 6 different states: Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Maryland, New York, and Texas. Fights organized on the 1915 Moonlight Road property against rivals from 4 other American states. Cash bets placed by private guests who arrived at the estate during the weekend early morning hours. The prize purses for the fights ranged from $2,000 to $26,000 per individual matchup. Michael Vick himself bet up to $40,000 on a single matchup, according to the sworn testimony of one of the cooperating witnesses of the federal government. And all of this while Michael Vick was collecting the $130 million from his Atlanta Falcons contract. Remember that $40,000. We'll come back to it. The underground empire operated for 6 straight years, without a single interruption. No leaks, no neighbor complaints from Southern Virginia, no suspicions from the NFL, no press attention from ESPN, and no investigation from American federal authorities. Michael Vick thought he would never get caught. Remember that protection. We'll come back to it. Even more terrifying, you will learn exactly what Michael Vick did to the dogs that lost the fights at Bad Newz Kennels. The underground dogfighting operation Michael Vick ran for 6 years on the 15-acre property at 1915 Moonlight Road, Surry County, Virginia. You will learn the 4 methods documented in the federal indictment out of the Richmond courthouse on July 17, 2007. Hanging with harnesses, drowning in buckets of water, electrocution with household wires, and shooting with a .22 caliber pistol. You will learn the 3 names of the official co-conspirators of Bad Newz Kennels: Pernell A. Peace, Quanus L. Phillips, and Tony Taylor, the 3 childhood friends of Michael Vick from the Ridley Circle housing projects of Newport News, Virginia. You will learn why Michael Vick started, according to his own televised confession to James Brown on CBS in August of 2009. Vick declared during the 60 Minutes interview that he had been watching dogfights since he was 8 years old in the neighborhood of Newport News, and that local police never treated them as a serious crime. The underground operation generated purses of $2,000 to $26,000 per fight, with Michael Vick betting up to $40,000 on a single matchup, all while collecting the $130 million from the Atlanta Falcons contract of December 2004, the largest contract in the modern history of the National Football League. And remember this dark fact: Michael Vick admitted under oath in the USDA report of August 2008 that he personally participated in the killing of the dogs, after failing the federal polygraph test administered by the U.S. government, and Judge Henry Hudson mentioned it during the sentencing of December 10, 2007, inside the federal courthouse of Richmond, Virginia. August 2009, private CBS television studio, Virginia. Barely 2 months after his official release from the federal prison of Leavenworth, Kansas, Michael Vick granted his first public televised interview since the federal arrest, on the 60 Minutes program of CBS, with sports journalist James Brown as the exclusive interviewer. The interview took place inside the state of Virginia because Michael Vick was on federal probation and could not cross American state lines without authorization from the federal probation officer. No arrogant attitude from the past, no cornrows, no jewelry, conservative blue suit, clean-cut professional haircut, and a public confession that would define the rest of the fallen American icon's legacy. Remember that confession. We'll come back to it. Michael Vick looked James Brown directly in the eye during the CBS 60 Minutes interview of August 2009, and publicly confessed something he had never acknowledged in the past. Michael Vick declared on CBS tape that he had been watching dogfights since he was 8 years old in the southern neighborhood of Newport News, that the local police never treated them as a serious crime, that the adults of Ridley Circle organized dogfights on the weekends as a form of street entertainment, and that Michael Vick grew up seeing dogfighting as a normal part of the African-American urban culture of Southern Virginia. A cultural habit, a neighborhood pastime, a street tradition. James Brown asked Michael Vick why he had continued dogfighting even after becoming the highest-paid player in the NFL with the $130 million contract. Michael Vick answered with the line that would define the rest of the fallen icon's public life: "I blame me." But before that televised confession of August 2009, something happened in April of 2007 that would forever destroy the professional career of the most electrifying quarterback in American sports of the 2000s decade. And it all started with a cousin. Remember that cousin? We'll come back to it. April 2007, city of Hampton, Virginia. Davon Body, first cousin of Michael Vick through his mother Brenda Vick, was arrested by the local police of Hampton County, Virginia, on charges of narcotics possession with intent to distribute. Davon Body was 26 years old. During the personal search, the police found residential information tied to the family property at 1915 Moonlight Road in Smithfield, Virginia, the property of Michael Vick. And that residential information would unleash the largest federal investigation in the modern history of the NFL against an active player. Remember that arrest. We'll come back to it. April 15, 2007, Surry County, Virginia. The Surrey County Police executed a court-ordered search warrant on the family property at 1915 Moonlight Road. Reason on the filing: parallel narcotics investigation linked to the Davon body arrest out of Hampton County. But the Surrey County officers found something very different on Michael Vick's property. Chained pit bulls, car axles buried with heavy chains, remains of dead dogs, and extensive evidence of an underground dogfighting operation that had been running on the property for the last 6 years. Remember that search? We'll come back to it. April 25, 2007, Surrey County, Virginia. 10 days after the first police search, a federal judge from the Richmond courthouse issued a second court-ordered search warrant on Michael Vick's property, this time with federal agents of the United States. And the federal agents found the following on the 15-acre property at 1915 Moonlight Road: 54 pit bulls in deplorable conditions, a professional dogfighting arena built with tall wooden walls to block the public view, a rape stand, a specialized bench for forced breeding, modified electric treadmills for canine conditioning, blood-stained carpets, sheds used as isolation cages for injured dogs, and a mass grave with the remains of pit bulls buried in the backyard of the family property of Michael Vick. The federal agents took 12 hours to catalog the evidence of the underground operation, and all of this while Michael Vick was playing a normal regular season with the Atlanta Falcons out of the Georgia Dome, with no idea that the criminal empire of the last 6 years had just collapsed. Remember those 54 pit bulls? We'll come back to it. The news reached Michael Vick by phone from Atlanta, Georgia, while he was in the weight room of the sports complex at the Georgia Dome preparing for the 2007 NFL season. One of his Southern Virginia friends called Michael Vick's personal cell phone with the words that would change the rest of his sports life. They took everything. They took the dogs. They took the evidence. They took everything. Michael Vick did not return to Virginia for the next 3 months, and he immediately hired defense attorney Billy Martin out of Washington, D.C., the same attorney who had defended Senator Marion Barry during the federal drug cases of the 1990s. Remember that attorney? We'll come back to it. Michael Vick's first public reaction was to deny any personal involvement in the Bad Newz Kennels operation. He said the property at 1915 Moonlight Road was a family vacation house. He said he had never even visited the property during the last 6 years of his professional career. And he said that his relatives from Newport News were the ones responsible for the daily care of the pit bulls found by the Southern Virginia police. The American sports media initially bought Michael Vick's public version, until the federal agents came back to Michael Vick's property with specialized forensic teams. June 7, 2007, Surrey County, Virginia. Federal agents executed a third court-ordered search warrant on Michael Vick's property, with specialized forensic teams from the FBI and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. They found more evidence: 7 additional graves with the remains of dogs executed during the testing sessions of previous years. The case moved from a Virginia state investigation to a federal American investigation. Remember that federal jurisdiction. We'll come back to it. July 17, 2007, Federal Courthouse, Richmond, Virginia. The federal grand jury of the Eastern District of Virginia issued the federal indictment against Michael Vick. 18 pages. Federal charges for running an interstate underground dogfighting operation for the last 6 years. Charges for illegal interstate gambling. Charges for buying and transporting pit bulls across state lines for organized fights. Michael Vick was named the principal head of the criminal operation, and Michael Vick's 3 childhood friends were named as official co-conspirators on the federal filing: Pernell A. Peace, Quanus L. Phillips, and Tony Taylor. The 4 were summoned to appear at the federal courthouse in Richmond on July 26, 2007, the exact same day the Atlanta Falcons opened training camp for the 2007 season. Remember that day. We'll come back to it. And even more brutal. You will learn how just 6 days after the federal indictment out of the Richmond courthouse on July 17, 2007, every major American sports brand canceled Michael Vick's endorsement deals over the next 4 weeks. Nike, Reebok, Coca-Cola, EA Sports, Rawlings, Kraft, Airtran, Donruss, and Upper Deck officially pulled his products and jerseys off the American market. You will learn how NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell suspended Michael Vick indefinitely, without pay, on August 24, 2007, barely 3 days before the guilty plea in the federal courthouse of Richmond. You will learn how on August 27, 2007, Michael Vick officially pleaded guilty to the federal charges before Judge Henry E. Hudson of the Richmond courthouse, admitting in writing to financing the underground dogfighting operation for the last 6 years and to personally participating in the killing of the losing dogs. And remember this, on December 10, 2007, federal judge Henry Hudson sentenced Michael Vick to 23 months in federal prison at the Leavenworth Penitentiary in Kansas, plus $928,073 in official restitution for the care of the rescued dogs. In July of 2008, Michael Vick filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy from his own federal prison cell, with more than $20 million in accumulated debts from the years of the criminal double life. July 23, 2007, Atlanta Falcons headquarters, Flowery Branch, Georgia. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell publicly ordered Michael Vick to stay away from the 2007 Atlanta Falcons training camp until the federal investigation was resolved. Falcons owner Arthur Blank publicly stated that the team wanted to suspend Michael Vick for 4 games, the maximum allowed under the collective bargaining agreement with the NFL Players Association. But Roger Goodell held firm on keeping Michael Vick off the field until the federal criminal case was resolved. Remember that suspension. We'll come back to it. July 26, 2007, Federal Courthouse, Richmond, Virginia. Michael Vick, Pernell A. Peace, Quannas L. Phillips, and Tony Taylor appeared for the first time before the Federal Court of Richmond, Virginia. All 4 initially pleaded not guilty to the federal charges of the indictment. But 4 days later, Tony Taylor, Michael Vick's closest childhood friend, changed his plea to guilty and agreed to fully cooperate with the federal investigators of the U.S. government. It was the first domino to fall on the criminal empire of Bad Newz Kennels, and the beginning of the end for Michael Vick. Remember that betrayal. We'll come back to it. August 23, 2007, Federal Courthouse, Richmond, Virginia. Michael Vick officially signed the plea agreement with the federal prosecutors of the U.S. government. In the written agreement, Michael Vick admitted to the following: personally financing the Bad Newz Kennels underground operation for the last 6 years, purchasing the pit bulls throughout the entire criminal period, traveling across American state lines for the organized fights, and personally helping to execute the losing dogs during the testing sessions of April 2007. But he denied personally betting on the dogfights. He only admitted to financing the underground operation. Remember that denial. We'll come back to it. August 24, 2007. NFL headquarters, Park Avenue, Manhattan, New York. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell announced Michael Vick's indefinite suspension without pay. Official NFL statement: Michael Vick's conduct violated the National Football League personal conduct policy, specifically the clauses against animal cruelty, illegal gambling, and criminal activity. Michael Vick immediately lost the following endorsement deals over the next 4 weeks of the American calendar. Nike terminated the $2 million per year contract, canceling the scheduled release of the Air Zoom Vic V sneaker. Reebok pulled all Michael Vick jerseys from American stores. Coca-Cola did not renew the expiring endorsement deal. EA Sports removed Michael Vick from the cover of the Madden NFL 08 video game. Rawlings ended the exclusive sports gloves contract. Kraft canceled the fast food endorsement deal. Airtran Airways had ended its contract in May of 2007, barely weeks after the first public news of the criminal case. Donruss announced that Michael Vick would not appear in any American sports trading card collection of 2008. And Upper Deck pulled all autographed Michael Vick merchandise from American stores and its commercial website. Remember those contracts. We'll come back to it. August 27, 2007. Federal Courthouse, Richmond, Virginia. Michael Vick appeared in person at the Federal Courthouse of Richmond, Virginia. Dark suit, blue tie, no statements to the American media at the entrance to the federal building. And before federal judge Henry E. Hudson, Michael Vick spoke the words that would define the rest of the fallen icon's sports legacy: guilty. Michael Vick officially pleaded guilty to all federal charges from the U.S. government. And in the press conference that followed on the steps of the Richmond Federal Courthouse, Michael Vick publicly declared to the American sports media, "I offer my deepest apologies to everyone. and I will redeem myself. I have to. Remember that promise. We'll come back to it. November 20th, 2007, Riverside Regional Jail, Prince George, Virginia, 3 weeks before the official sentencing by Judge Henry Hudson. Michael Vick voluntarily surrendered to the U.S. Marshals ahead of the scheduled sentencing date. The strategic reason on the filing: to begin the official credit for time served as early as possible within the American federal prison system. Riverside Regional Jail, Prince George County, Virginia, the first federal detention center in Michael Vick's life. Remember that, Riverside. We'll come back to it. December 10th, 2007, Federal Courthouse, Richmond, Virginia. Michael Vick returned to the Federal Court of Richmond, Virginia, this time wearing the dark and white striped uniform of the federal prison system. Federal Judge Henry E. Hudson delivered the final sentencing in the Bad Newz Kennels case. 23 months in federal prison, more than expected by Michael Vick's defense attorneys. Judge Henry Hudson publicly explained the reason for the increased sentence. "I'm not convinced you've fully accepted responsibility." Judge Henry Hudson specifically mentioned the federal polygraph report from the U.S. government, the report that had confirmed Michael Vick had lied about the extent of his personal involvement in the killing of the losing dogs. And he added an official restitution of $928,073 for the care and rehabilitation of the 54 rescued pit bulls seized by federal agents during the April 2007 raids, plus 3 years of federal supervised release. Michael Vick was 27 years old. Remember, life will test you. We'll come back to it. January 2008, USP Leavenworth, Kansas. Michael Vick was transferred from the Riverside Regional Jail in Virginia to the USP Leavenworth in Kansas. Federal minimum security prison. 5 hours of daily work as a janitor of the common dining hall, 12 cents per hour, and daily letters sent home to Kijafa Frink in Newport News, Virginia, Michael Vick's girlfriend since 2002. Remember that, Kijafa. We'll come back to her. July 7th, 2008. Federal Bankruptcy Court, Newport News, Virginia. Michael Vick officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy from his own federal prison cell at Leavenworth, Kansas. Total declared debts between $10 million and $50 million. The highest paid quarterback in the modern history of the NFL, the man who had signed the $130 million contract with the Atlanta Falcons 4 years earlier, officially declared personal financial insolvency from a federal American prison cell. Remember that bankruptcy. We'll come back to it. USP Leavenworth, Kansas, January 2008 to May 2009. During his 18 months in the federal minimum security prison of Kansas, Michael Vick worked 5 hours a day as a janitor of the common dining hall, sweeping floors, wiping tables, and serving food to the other federal inmates. 12 cents per hour from the federal prison wage system, and daily letters sent home to Kijafa Frink in Newport News, Michael Vick's girlfriend since January 2002, whom he had met in a nightclub during his 2001 rookie season with the Atlanta Falcons. Kijafa Frink was raising the couple's 2 young daughters from a modest house in Virginia, with the solidary financial help of the few friends who remained from Michael Vick's inner circle. Michael Vick and Kijafa Frink would not formally marry until 3 years after his release from federal prison. The Vick family of Newport News was surviving solely on the personal savings Kijafa Frink had been able to hide from the Chapter 11 bankruptcy lawyers. Remember that, Kijafa. We'll come back to her. June 2008, USP Leavenworth. Former head coach Tony Dungy, winner of Super Bowl X of the year 2007 with the Indianapolis Colts, the first African-American head coach in the modern history of the NFL to win the Super Bowl, personally visited Michael Vick at the federal prison of Leavenworth during the final months of his sentence. Tony Dungy had lost his son James Dungy in December of 2005 to suicide at 18 years old, inside the family home in Lutz, Florida. And since that personal tragedy, Tony Dungy had actively dedicated himself to the mentorship of young African-American athletes facing legal trouble in American sports. Michael Vick begged Tony Dungy for absolute help in finding an NFL team after his release from federal prison. Tony Dungy accepted the request immediately. And Tony Dungy's silent work with the NFL front office on Park Avenue would prove decisive for the second act of the fallen American sports icon. Remember that, Tony Dungy. We'll come back to him. April 2009, NFL headquarters, Park Avenue, Manhattan. Commissioner Roger Goodell met in person with Tony Dungy at the NFL front office in Manhattan. Tony Dungy argued to Commissioner Roger Goodell that Michael Vick deserved a second professional chance after completing the 23 months of federal sentencing for Bad Newz Kennels. Commissioner Roger Goodell listened carefully to Tony Dungy's request, but made no immediate decision at the moment of the private Manhattan meeting. Remember that meeting. We'll come back to it. May 20th, 2009, USP Leavenworth, Kansas. After 18 months inside the federal American prison, Michael Vick was released from the USP Leavenworth of Kansas to complete the final 2 months of his sentence under home confinement in northern Hampton, Virginia. He was 29 years old. No professional sports contract, no endorsement deals, no National Football League team, and more than $20 million in accumulated debts from the federal Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing. Remember that home confinement. We'll come back to it. July 20th, 2009. Hampton, Virginia. Michael Vick completed the final 2 months of his federal home confinement, and he was formally placed under supervised federal probation, with the prohibition against crossing American state lines without prior authorization from the federal probation officer. Michael Vick had to decide the rest of his professional life, without a public offer from any team in the National Football League. Remember that offer. We'll come back to it. And even harder to believe. How Michael Vick, the same man who had lost the $130 million contract with the Atlanta Falcons, every endorsement deal from Nike, Reebok, Coca-Cola, EA Sports, Rawlings and Kraft, and 23 months of his life, locked inside the federal prison of Leavenworth, Kansas, returned to the National Football League on August 13, 2009, barely 12 weeks after his official release from federal prison. You will learn how the Philadelphia Eagles signed Michael Vick to a $1.6 million deal for the 2009 season, and how during the 2010 season, Michael Vick threw for 3,018 yards, 21 touchdowns, and led the Philadelphia Eagles to the NFC East Division title with a record of 10 wins and 6 losses. You will learn how Michael Vick was voted the Associated Press Comeback Player of the Year for the 2010 NFL season, and returned to the Pro Bowl as the starting NFC quarterback. And remember this, on July 1st, 2011, Nike officially re-signed Michael Vick, the first time in the modern history of American sports marketing that a major brand ever came back to sign an athlete after previously terminating the deal under a morals clause. And in August of 2011, the Philadelphia Eagles signed Michael Vick to a second $100 million contract for 6 years, with $36 million guaranteed in the professional deal with the National Football League. July 27, 2009. NFL headquarters, Park Avenue, Manhattan, New York. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell granted Michael Vick conditional reinstatement, with the following specific restrictions in the announcement. Michael Vick could sign with a professional National Football League team. He could participate in regular team practices. He could play in the final 2 games of the 2009 preseason, but he could not play in official regular season games until final review by Commissioner Roger Goodell before Week 6 of the sports calendar. Michael Vick was 29 years old, and he had a historic second chance. Remember that reinstatement. We'll come back to it. August 13, 2009, NovaCare Complex, Philadelphia. Head coach Andy Reid of the Philadelphia Eagles publicly announced the signing of Michael Vick, $1.6 million contract for the 2009 season, with a team option for $5.2 million for the 2010 season. The public support of Tony Dungy, the former head coach of the Indianapolis Colts and winner of Super Bowl XLE of 2007, was decisive in the team's decision to sign Michael Vick. Tony Dungy had personally visited Michael Vick at the federal prison of Leavenworth, Kansas, during the final 6 months of his federal sentence, and he had publicly defended Michael Vick's reinstatement to the National Football League before the American sports media. Remember that mentorship. We'll come back to it. At the press conference of August 14, 2009, at the NovaCare complex in Philadelphia, Michael Vick spoke the following words. "I know I've done some terrible things, made a horrible mistake. Now I want to be part of the solution and not the problem." Andy Reid and Tony Dungy flanked Michael Vick during the press conference of the fallen American sports icon. And at that same press conference, Michael Vick spoke the line that would define the rest of his professional second act. "I was wrong for what I did. For the life of me, I can't understand why I was involved in such pointless activity. Why did I risk so much at the pinnacle of my career?" Remember that question. We'll come back to it. September 20th, 2009, Lincoln Financial Field, Philadelphia. Michael Vick's first official regular season game in the National Football League since December of 2006, nearly 3 years after his last game with the Atlanta Falcons, against the Kansas City Chiefs of the AFC. Michael Vick played only 11 snaps in the game, 30 total yards of offense, and a touchdown reception as a Wildcat quarterback. The Philadelphia Eagles won 34-14. The Philadelphia fans gave Michael Vick a lukewarm ovation during his first public appearance inside the Southern Pennsylvania Stadium. Remember that ovation? We'll come back to it. 2010 season, Philadelphia Eagles, NFC East. After a 2009 season used almost exclusively as a Wildcat quarterback rushing specialist, something changed on the opening game of the 2010 season. Kevin Kolb, the starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles for the 2010 season, suffered a concussion during the opening game against the Green Bay Packers, and Michael Vick took over the offense of the Philadelphia Eagles over the next 12 games of the NFL regular season. Michael Vick's final numbers during the 2010 season were the best of the American icon's entire professional career. 3,018 passing yards, 21 passing touchdowns, 676 rushing yards, 9 rushing touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 100.2 points, the highest single-season rating of Michael Vick's career in the National Football League. The Philadelphia Eagles finished the 2010 regular season with a record of 10 wins and 6 losses, winning the NFC East Division title. Remember that title. We'll come back to it. January 2011, Associated Press, New York. Michael Vick was officially voted the National Football League Comeback Player of the Year for the 2010 season. Official return to the Pro Bowl as the starting NFC quarterback. The first Pro Bowl appearance for Michael Vick since the 2005 season with the Atlanta Falcons. And the number 7 jerseys of the Philadelphia Eagles were the 6th top-selling jerseys in the entire National Football League for the 2010 season. 5 years after the public news of the Bad Newz Kennels scandal. Remember that sale. We'll come back to it. July 1, 2011. Nike headquarters, Beaverton, Oregon. Nike publicly announced the re-signing of the endorsement deal with Michael Vick. Statement from the brand. Michael acknowledges his past mistakes. "We do not condone those actions, but we support the positive changes he has made to better himself off the field." And, twait, the first time in the modern history of American sports marketing that a major brand ever came back to sign an athlete after previously terminating the deal under a morals clause. 4 years and 11 months after the original Nike cancellation of August 2007. Remember that re-signing. We'll come back to it. August 2011, NovaCare Complex, Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Eagles signed Michael Vick to a historic second professional contract. $100 million, 6 years, and $36 million guaranteed in the deal with the National Football League. The second $100 million contract of the fallen American sports icon's professional career. Michael Vick was 31 years old. And Michael Vick's average annual salary, $16.6 million per year, became the third highest quarterback salary in the entire National Football League for 2011, only behind Peyton Manning of the Indianapolis Colts and Tom Brady of the New England Patriots. Remember that ranking. We'll come back to it. The following seasons were difficult for Michael Vick. 2011 season, 3,303 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, regular season record of 8 wins and 8 losses, no postseason. 2012 season, multiple injuries, loss of the starting job by decision of head coach Andy Reid. 2013 season, arrival of new head coach Chip Kelly from the University of Oregon. Nick Foles as the official starter. Michael Vick demoted to the bench as backup. December 2013, Michael Vick tore up the remaining years of the $100 million contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. in exchange for early access to free agency for the 2014 National Football League season. Remember that release? We'll come back to it. March 21st, 2014. New York Jets headquarters, Florham Park, New Jersey. Michael Vick signed a $5 million contract for 1 year with the New York Jets of the AFC East, as backup to the official starter Geno Smith. At the end of the 2014 season, the New York Jets finished with a record of 4 wins and 12 losses. Michael Vick started only 3 games during the entire regular season. Remember those 3 games. We'll come back to them. August 24th, 2015, Heinz Field, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Michael Vick signed a veteran league minimum contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers of the AFC North. As absolute backup to starter Ben Roethlisberger, the Super Bowl 40 winning quarterback of the 2006 season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Michael Vick started only 4 games during the 2015 season, when Ben Roethlisberger was injured. And it was the last professional stop of Michael Vick's career in the National Football League. Remember that final chapter. We'll come back to it. February 3rd, 2017, Delta Sky 360 Club, Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. During the weekend of Super Bowl LI in Houston, Texas, the Super Bowl the New England Patriots would win against the Atlanta Falcons on the historic 25-point comeback. Michael Vick publicly announced his official retirement from the National Football League. 13 professional seasons in the NFL, 6 seasons with the Atlanta Falcons between 2001 and 2006, 4 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles between 2009 and 2013, 1 season with the New York Jets in 2014, and 1 season with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2015. Final career statistics of Michael Vick: 22,464 passing yards, 133 passing touchdowns, 6,109 rushing yards, the all-time career rushing yards record by a quarterback in the modern history of the National Football League, and 36 rushing touchdowns, 4 Pro Bowl selections in the National Football League, and a professional career that would be remembered for the next 50 years of the American sports calendar. Remember those statistics. We'll come back to them. Have you ever wondered how it's possible that the same man who was expelled from the National Football League for 23 months inside the federal prison of Leavenworth, Kansas, the same man who lost the $130 million contract with the Atlanta Falcons, every endorsement deal from Nike, Reebok, Coca-Cola, EA Sports and Rawlings, and filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy from a federal American prison cell, returned to the National Football League barely 12 weeks after his release from federal prison, won the 2010 Comeback Player of the Year award with the Philadelphia Eagles, and signed a second $100 million contract in August of 2011? That is the question millions of American sports fans have been asking themselves for the last 15 years. After his official retirement from the National Football League, Michael Vick worked as a sports analyst for Fox Sports between 2017 and 2019. In 2020, ESPN premiered the official documentary of the fallen quarterback's professional career, The 30 for 30, titled simply Vick, with 2 complete parts and direction from filmmaker Stan Frelick. Michael Vick continued working over the last decade with the Humane Society of the United States as an official ambassador in the fight against dogfighting, giving public talks in schools and urban African American communities over the last 15 years. And on June 30th, 2012, he publicly married Kajafa Frink, his girlfriend from Newport News since January 2002, in a private ceremony at the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami, Florida. The ceremony cost approximately $300,000. The 3 biological children of the marriage with Kajafa Frink: Jada Vick, born in 2004, London Vick, born in 2007, and Michael Vick Jr., born in November of 2017. Michael Vick also has an older son named Mitez, from a previous relationship with Tamika Taylor during his high school years in Newport News. Remember that family. We'll come back to it. In 2001, Michael Vick was selected as the first overall pick of the NFL Draft, the first African-American quarterback in the modern history of American sports to receive that draft honor. In 2004, Michael Vick signed the $130 million contract with the Atlanta Falcons, the largest contract in the modern history of the National Football League up to that moment. In 2007, Michael Vick was arrested, indicted, and sentenced to 23 months in federal prison for personally running the underground dogfighting operation, officially known as Bad Newz Kennels, the most brutal criminal operation in American professional sports of the 2000s decade. And in 2011, Michael Vick signed a second $100 million contract with the Philadelphia Eagles, barely 4 years after his federal arrest by the US government. Michael Vick is 46 years old in 2026. Without a plaque in the Pro Football Hall of Fame of Canton, Ohio, without the absolute forgiveness of the animal rights activist community of the PETA organization, and with the permanent mark of Bad Newz Kennels for the rest of his American sports legacy. And perhaps we will never know why the most electrifying quarterback in American sports of the 2000s decade chose to risk it all: the $130 million contract, his National Football League career, his public reputation, and his eternal sports legacy for an underground dogfighting operation he had first seen at 8 years old in the southern Newport News neighborhood. If this story moved something in you, subscribe to the Fallen Stars channel right now, and leave us a comment telling us whether you believe Michael Vick deserves induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, to honor the all-time career rushing yards record by a quarterback in the modern history of American sports, or whether you believe the 2007 federal scandal of Bad Newz Kennels should permanently disqualify him from the highest historic honor of the National Football League. See you in the next video. And if you or someone close to you has ever witnessed illegal dogfighting or any form of animal cruelty in your neighborhood, call the ASPCA, American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, free of charge at 1-800-628-0028, or report the case to the Humane Society of the United States. Every dog deserves protection. None deserves to be exploited.